we've bought the house. We love the house. It's time to pop the bottles of champagne and enjoy, right? But what happens if? So today I have Heidi Thompson here with me. She's an attorney. She's my favorite attorney. And she's going to tell us what you should do to make sure that you've bought the house and that it's going to go to the appropriate person upon, hopefully you don't die, but upon maybe something does happen. So tell us more about that, Heidi.
Okay, well, we all know at some point we're going to die.
Yeah.
It's the sad news, but death and taxes are certain. So the question is, what do you want to have happen to the house when you die? You have a choice. You can either go with what the state says would happen, which honestly, if we all sat down together right now and wrote out an order that we would want things to go to, where we would want people's belongings to go upon their death, it'd probably be a lot like the state statute.
Well, tell us about it. What is the state statute? If I'm a single person and I just bought a house and I don't have children and my parents unfortunately have passed away, where does it go?
Okay, if your parents are already gone and you don't have a spouse or kids, then it would go out to your siblings.
Oh.
If your siblings are deceased, it would go down to your nieces and nephews, then up to aunts and uncles, then out to cousins.
Because we all love our siblings.
Right.
Every person
There's
in the
no
world.
sibling rivalry.
That
here.
never
None.
happens.
Well, if you don't want it to go to a certain brother or certain sister, or there's anyone else in that family chain of events that you think shouldn't be in the line, you can definitely take care of that by having a will, a trust, or even a beneficiary deed that decides where that property can go by deed to the next person upon your death. The beauty of that is they have no right to the property whatsoever during your life, so if you change your mind, you can change your mind.
Oh, so it's not irrevocable. You can completely revoke it. Okay, so if you get ticked off at, whoever, okay, fair enough. That's awesome. So then if you do have parents or if you do have children or a spouse, I think that the courts have pretty much laid that out pretty logically, right?
I think it's pretty logical. If you're married, it all goes to the spouse.
Bloopers. Goes to the spouse, perfect.
If you have kids in common with your spouse, it still all goes to the spouse, believing your spouse is going to take care of your kids.
Hopefully,
You like to think so.
I would like to think so. And if not, you probably definitely need a beneficiary deed.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. If you have kids from a prior relationship and a spouse, they're pretty much going to split the baby. It's going to go about half and half to each.
Okay, now we're getting to the tricky stuff.
Right.
Okay.
If you don't have either of those, it goes up to parents, then out to siblings, and so on, just like we talked about.
So man, I can definitely see the need for a beneficiary deed, especially if you have any kind of tumultuousness inside of your family, really, because we all know not every single person loves their parents or wants their children to necessarily have a house. Not all children are necessarily responsible enough to manage that kind of thing. So tell me more about this beneficiary deed. When should they get that? Do we need it before close of escrow, after close of escrow? When's the best time to get that?
Okay, that's a great question. Well, you still have to have the house closed in escrow in your name. Okay, or unless you have a trust, we'll talk about that later probably. But you're going to have it closed first in your name, and then you can do a beneficiary deed. Now, it's possible you could have that done immediately after the close of escrow, so that it's got how it's assigned to you during your lifetime and then how it goes after.
Okay.
So, but any time after you bought a house, it's a fair time to take care of what's going to happen to the house next.
So we all love the title companies, and we know title companies can handle a lot of stuff, right? Is this something they can handle? And even if it is something they can, should they?
So a beneficiary deed is not a very complicated document.
Okay.
But a beneficiary deed is usually part of a much bigger conversation.
Okay.
There may be other things that you want to keep in mind along with the giving of that house. Maybe you want to set aside a certain amount of money to go with the maintaining of it. Maybe you want to, maybe there's more than just the passing of the house.
Okay.
That's where an attorney definitely comes in and making sure that you've got your whole plan put together, not just one piece of a plan.
Well, and even if we're talking about one document, let's say you're just a single person, there's nothing that you own that you want to pass on and you don't really care, and that's fine. You only need this one document. Title companies are great, but having an attorney review that document to make sure it's accurate, to make sure it's legally binding, all that fun stuff is definitely worth its weight in gold, in my opinion. I love attorneys. I know a lot of people hate them. I love Heidi because she is an efficient attorney, and that is what matters.
Thank you.
Efficiency and intelligence are two primary things you want out of an attorney. So if you do have any questions about beneficiary deeds, wills, trusts, estates, definitely reach out to Heidi. Her information is below. My name is Margie, and I'm with eXp Realty.
And I'm Heidi Thompson with Lifeguarding Legacies.